Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz, and I have my fantastic co-host right here.
Eddie Nicholas, what up, beautiful people, and welcome to 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. We are so glad that you have decided to check us out today. So, Mr. Cruz, I see we have a new little goodie that has been dropped off back here. Don't y'all know there's this big old pink thing in the bag?
Yes, I just got it back from the shop, so big shout out to West End Records. It's an old disco label that I used to run, so it means a lot to me, so I'm really glad that this is happening. Let us take a moment and let our listeners and our viewers know that the Freedom Radio Hour is here, not only giving you fantastic music tonight, but we're also here to be your number one source for music, business news, and trends from around the globe. As my partner said, we are live on Capital Radio, 91.6 FM, and on the web at dwopmusicradio.com. Let's jump right out in front and talk about it. There's a lot of activity. Recently, the Grammy Awards here in the States occurred. There was a whole telecast. My brother Eddie was live social media posting.
Oh, yes, just posting and carrying on with all the...
I just love it.
All the performances and the faux pas and the fashion faux pas and, goings on. I was hoping we would have gotten a shot of Louis Vega sitting in the audience.
Shout out to
Louis Vega.
Yes. Nominated for his Grammy-nominated now album, Louis Vega starring 28. Fantastic album. Also, half written by my business partner, Josh Milan.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Josh Milan. Yes. So they were out doing their thing. But the Grammy, I thought, really gave clues about the future of music in terms of sound. I was definitely struck by the fact that Keith Urban and Carrie Underwood, they're country stars. They're like the biggest ever. Carrie Underwood, as a sidebar, she started at American Idol. They just debuted a record called The Fighter, and it was definitely house music oriented.
Is that the one that's performed on the show?
Yes.
Yeah, I was a gag.
Did you notice that it was like very house and country together?
Because I'm like, aren't they country singers? I'm like, this song is kind of
like housey.
Housey, well, dancey.
Yes.
Poppy.
Yes.
Pop country.
I think I found it fascinating. I covered this on the website. If you check us out at freedomradiohour.com. What we were talking about was how fascinating it was that country music was sort of the last genre to sort of fuse this idea of electronic dance music and country together. I mean, yes, we had Avicii do that with that Don't Wake Me Up. That was like a country record, but that was EDM guy trying his hand at country music infused in that. That was the vocals by Alec, I forget what his name. Anyway, that was a great big record. And so this was the first time that I think, in my memory, that I saw country artists trying to become more dance, if you will. Anyway, they weren't the first one to try this idea of genre fusion, if you will.
Genre fusion, genre blend.
That's it.
Music miscegenation.
Yes. Well, the other big thing I noticed was that you had Katy Perry, who hadn't had a new album out or new single out in a while, debuted something new called Chained to the Rhythm.
With the Marley.
Yes, and that was very reggae-like.
Yes.
Skip Marley. I think that's his great-grandson of Bob Marley. Anyway, she was definitely given Caribbean and reggae-inspired beats with the new song, right? And it was political in nature. She kept shouting freedom. Everything was about that. And then you had another artist that came over with something that was reggae inspired. That was Ed Sheeran. That song, like A Shape of You. And he's like an acoustic guitarist. Very talented fellow. But he too has jumped into the Caribbean reggae. And I can't help but remember Justin Bieber with that record Sorry. That was big last year. It's not too late to say sorry. Anyway, that was reggae. And you had Rihanna killing it with that Work record and Drake. So I feel like the new wave is going to be this idea of country fusing with electronic dance. And then you have the Rihannas of the world and such being inspiring now new records to be reggae inspired.
But you know what? Not even only that, music has so evolved or under-evolved or however you want to put it, where we have all these current rappers doing all these mumbles. You don't understand what in the world they're saying.
But that's the name of the genre.
But they're making millions. It's called mumble rap.
Yeah.
Well, I better make one. Shoot. But even though we're talking about politics and all that stuff, we still got to stay light-sided. What did you think about Miss Beyonce?
Well, I love the idea of this whole Mother Earth thing, and I love that she did more of the ballads from her Lemonade album. But I'm I mean this with all due respect, Beehive, but I'm over Beyonce right now. She just announced that she is pregnant with twins. So,
well, that was obvious.
Yes, but I feel like we end up being distracted by things like a pregnant belly or Adele's profanity slip on the air, and winning her album of the year. She said how Beyonce's album Lemonade empowered her own black friends and how everybody side-eyed Adele for saying that.
I side-eyed it. I said, I'm so glad all your black friends are inspired by Beyonce.
Yes.
I couldn't.
I know, but we're like distracted by that.
Get your award and sit down.
Yes, but meanwhile, back at the ranch, new FCC chair, Ajit Pai, is changing the way that we treat the data and net neutrality laws. He is not a foe of trying to help us in terms of keeping the music playing by updating that music language, empowering the arts, and being behind music education so that we have a bigger problems to deal with, I argue, instead of worrying about these things. Although, yes, I did notice as well these weird comments and the weird fascination that we seem to have with, these sort of trivial things. Let's take a break right now. When we come back on the Freedom Radio Hour, we're going to break more down this idea of what you can expect in the future of music. And I really want to talk about this new way that bootlegging digital music is popping up specifically in soulful house music. Let's break it down when we come back. Where?
91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
What up, beautiful people, and welcome back to 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. We're so glad that you came back to join us on behalf of FreedomRadio.com and DY Music.
Freedom Radio Hour.
Oh, see. Too much to remember. 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan.
Yes.
What up, beautiful people. Welcome back. We're so glad that you came back to join us. I'm Eddie Nicholas, and I'm sitting here with my cool buddy, the one and only Mr.
Adam Cruz. We're so excited to be here live on Capital Radio and at dwobmusicradio.com on the web. Before we broke, we were talking about the importance of the changes that are happening with the FCC as we were watching the recent Grammy Award show and sort of giggling over they had quite a bit of microphone mishaps.
Oh, yes, but Metallica?
Yes, they had
I was through.
Yes, they had a weird camera shots that would happen. It's like the cameramen stopped talking to each other at a certain time, and then you had cut off speeches. Poor Adele's co-writer was cut off, so she gave him another chance. Thankfully,
and Miss Adele starting off in the wrong key with the. Well, first of all, just my opinion.
Yes.
They shouldn't have rearranged the song.
Okay, so let's give a little background. The background is that there was a George Michael tribute at the Grammys, and Adele was really the person that was going to pay tribute. Usually there's a multitude of stars that put together, but in this instant, they gave it all to Adele. Who happened, I don't know if you knew this, she's been a personal friend of Mr. George Michael for many years. So
what makes sense for her to do the tribute?
Yeah, so she was paying tribute to Mr. George Michael, and she starts like this sort of ominous, weird sounding version of, I think, one of George Michael's songs. So go ahead.
She couldn't find her key. That's the bottom line.
Maybe she couldn't hear.
Well, she couldn't find her key. And that happens to all of us.
It does.
It happens to all of us. But I give her mad props because she stopped the orchestra and she said, let's do this again. She's not the first one that I've seen do this. I've seen a major Broadway star do this, where he was doing a concert and the music was way too slow. He stopped the orchestra, tap, 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 tap. One that starts from Kinky Boots. I can't remember his name, but...
Billy Porter.
Not Billy Porter.
Somebody else.
The other one that stepped into the shoes. I can't remember his name.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. But I think she had also...
It's human. It shows human.
Yes, and I think that's the quality that we most love about Adele, that she comes across so humanistic. And even last year, she had a microphone issue even then, if you remember, and she just kept plowing through it. This time she said, I'm not going to do like last year and just keep going. I'm going to stop and redo this. This means too much.
With the flip of a little bit of cuss, but...
Well, yes, she did. And oftentimes we end up being distracted by these things. Beyonce's big belly, Adele's profanity slip. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, the FCC is changing that.
Let's go back.
Okay, go back.
We got to go back to Miss Beehive.
Okay, what about her?
Because when I saw it, if you follow me on my little social media, I make my little comments. She was giving me very much Queen of the Damned.
Like Mother Earth.
And Queen of the Damned, Mother Earth, and Mother Sister Teresa, Queen of Grace. She was giving all of that. All of that. But I know it's to the Orisha, Oshira, or Oshun.
Yes,
It was to the
okay.
goddess of shoes. So,
Okay,
I
I
took all of
understand.
that in, but I'm like, girl, you just give it way, way, way. She gave theatrics.
Yes, she did. And I think people expect that now from Beyonce. But all to the contrary, you have Adele who's coming across so humble and human. And Beyonce, to me, while I really applaud her and respect her talent, I feel she come across so polished and flawless that like you almost forget that she's human. And so you have these instances where later Adele was talking about her album of the year and how she really felt she's such a beehiver, a Beyonce stan.
And
that
she's
she,
not that much younger than Beyonce.
No, she's
They're just
28.
28. Beyonce's what, in her 30s?
Yes, I believe so.
Just a couple of years.
Yes. So anyway, I was fascinated by the fact that Adele, even at the end, they don't show this, but at the post award show, she took the cone, the top end of the award for Album of the Year, and broke it and gave it to Beyonce. Yes.
And you know they're going to replace her Grammy. You know they're going to send her another one. That was a nice gesture, but you know the Grammy, they're going to send her another one.
Well, listen, at this point, these kinds of award shows, while they're fun and they're educational and give you a glimpse of what the music scene is like today, there is a lot going on behind the scenes. And in particular, specifically to soulful house music. We're going to talk about it at length, but I wanted to break down something that's occurring. I received word from a fellow artist of mine who had explained that there is an individual who's on Facebook. Okay?
There aren't so many.
Posting the following post: folders for sale, $40. Inbox me. So what has occurred now is this individual, you hit up privately on Facebook, pay this individual $40, presumably through PayPal or some sort of similar means, and then he, in return, sends you a folder of digital music specifically from TrackSource as per his marketing. So the post says, folders from TrackSource, $40, inbox me. So what he's doing is essentially, back in the day, there used to be vinyl resellers. See, the labels used to cut the corners of the vinyl records.
You know, with that little 50-cent dollar, $3.99 sticker.
Yes, they used to cut it. And why did they do that? Because the stores would reject defective material back in the day. And so that started that trend. Mm-hmm. But as you saw, people started to not care that there was a cut corner of the vinyl jacket. And so they would resell them anyway. Mm-hmm. This is now the digital music version of that, where there's one individual, a bootlegger, who's taken it upon himself to purchase or get for free records that were released on Tracksource.com, a premium soulful house website, put it together in a folder, and then sell that onwards, $40 a pop. Genius or gangster?
Both. Both. Because if you that gangster to put it out there, then I'm like, more power to you.
You really do feel that way?
Yes. And if
I totally disagree.
Well, you may disagree, but I say this because with the pirating of music and the insufficient amount of money that's being paid to artists, is he right? No. But is it business? Yes, because that's no worse than people gathering up their little CDs and selling their CDs for $10 out on the street with all of whoever's music up on it. This gentleman just found a way to upscale it, and if people don't want to go to TrackSource or those other places to purchase that music, and they got somebody with a folder, please, I could name many DJs that did that. But you know, that's for another story, and that's for my book and for my memoirs.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we're gonna break this down a little further. I couldn't disagree with you more, and I'm gonna break down why.
He disagrees, but we're going. So it's always good to have banter.
Yes.
91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan.
Freedom Radio Hour.
And we're back live on Capital Radio, 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan. Yes. And on the web at dwildmusicradio.com. You're deep in the zone right here on the Freedom Radio Hour. We're your number one source for music, business news, and trends from around the globe. Before we broke, we were talking about the latest goings on with respect to online bootlegging.
But she totally disagrees with me.
Well, I'll break it down. So in short, we were talking about how there's an individual on Facebook who is advertising a side hustle business, if you will, where if you hit him up privately on Facebook, pay him $40 via PayPal or presumably some other mechanism, he will in return send you a folder of digital music that has been purchased or taken from TrackSource, right?
And you see Adam uses the operative word, purchased. or I'll use the word extracted.
I don't know if the individual is purchasing them, getting them from his boys or whatever, but
He's getting them.
This individual is putting them together in a folder. Now, the particulars, you can't audition, you don't know ahead of time what's in there, you don't know. You're just buying this, giving this man that you don't know $40 and hope that he will return a folder of material. Now, as an artist, Eddie and I both are artists. We record music, we sing, we produce, we host events, we do a lot of different things, all right? So on the surface, I'm going to be viscerally angry from the jump because I know that said Mr. Individual is not hitting up Eddie Nicholas nor Adam Cruz nor the artist that originally told me of this issue to say here's your cut.
Or better yet, to ask.
Right, because there is a process called licensing where you are to hit up the label, the person who owns that song or said songs, and then license the material. Then you can go off and do your little side business, Mr. Individual, on Facebook. But because you don't do that, I have a big problem with that. Now, Eddie says that's no different from, say, a DJ mixing a CD and selling it like Market
Out
Street.
on the street, Market Street, or what are the little ladies that
I
come
think it's
around
very
with the videos,
Okay.
with the absconded videos and all of that.
On the surface, I agree that it's no different. They're both engaging in illegal
both
activity.
illegal.
Yes. Beyond that, though, when you dig deeper, it's very different. How different? Well, in the age of digital music, everything is done in a flip of a button, real quick. Blah, blah, blah. It's much different than having to sit on the corner in the street selling copies of something. Presumably, maybe somebody could see it or not. The other part, too, is if we're going to be trivial, if you're buying a CD off the street, generally you'll see a track list, so at least you could see ahead of time what you're buying. This is blind purchasing.
Well,
you just know you're getting material from a website that you might trust, like TrackSource, and you know that that $40 might go a long way, because the other part is that the individual isn't saying how much you get back. The individual isn't saying all of these things that are missing from the business model. And I also wonder how many people are really genuinely going there to hit this individual up.
Again, he said, hit me up in my PM. It's a side hustle. But again, those people that are foolish enough to want to go and purchase without investigating, then that's on them.
Yes, but I think that we ought to name and shame sometimes. Like, I don't even know the individual.
What's his name?
I don't know his name because I would have said it.
Name and shame. Ooh, name and shame.
Name and shame, because I feel like this. Look, I want to definitely be aware of the different avenues by which illegal activity in terms of music is happening. Why? Because I'm an artist, I own a label, I help other labels come up and start to do their thing. So it's very important to me that I'm aware of other possible websites. Having said that, though, I do feel like, yet again, here we are fighting piracy essentially by trying to identify the problem and do something about it. But it's like swimming upstream. We're like fish swimming upstream and we're fighting against the tide. And you can't plug a huge hole with your thumb. You know, that's like the dam that's here in the U.S. That's good. It's dealing with, there's like a huge dam here that's in the process of breaking down, and it could be jeopardizing the town's safety nearby. And
all about the infrastructure. So I'm all with you on that, President Trump. I'm with you about the infrastructure.
Listen, and to that very point, we need better infrastructure for handling music. I think that for the longest time, like I've said before, we've been fighting up and barking up the wrong tree. We need to come up with a new way to deal with consumption of music, because as you see, it's not going anywhere. What do I mean by it's not going anywhere? Bootlegging, piracy, illegal manipulation of the music is not going anywhere. So we ought to really think. Our call to action right now is to think seriously in the 2017, how can I get this music out to my people in a different way? I do feel like the future is direct-to-fan sales. Direct-to-fan sales, taking advantage of that release party that you're going to put together for your new record or your new set of songs. That's where you should be
and
able
sell
to.
them out the back of your trunk again.
I think we have to go back to the bare bones of it sometimes.
To see actually capital in hand.
Yes, and so that when we are aware of the illegal activity that happened online, we're not as hurt per se when it occurs, because we've had a plan now to get the most out of the project on the offline or off some other mechanism. Because what's happening now is that we're, as an industry, soulful house industry, I argue that we're spending too much time putting all our hopes and dreams on social media posts. There's got to be another way that you get the word out and get the bottom line increased in the music that you put out, other than hoping that if I keep posting and inundating my little friends on Facebook, that I'll be able to make a decent living from this song.
You got to take it to the people. Take it to the people. You got to take it to the people.
You do, and you got to think outside the box. You can't just do the normal thing anymore. It is 2017. Time to, when you're ready to put a party out, put it out and have a party with a purpose. That means have your CD ready, have your vinyl ready, have your whatever codes you need to get this happening for yourself.
So people can get immediate gratification. And because again, as you're saying, it's about the now.
Yes, and if for nothing else, take this away. Stop relying solely on social media posts to promote your music. If you're an independent artist, you need to think outside the box. What else can you do to either give it to a DJ and hope that he or she will play it, or flood your Facebook friends with posts, or your Instagram friends with posts, or your Snapchat friends with posts? There's got to be some other way to get to the increase of that bottom line.
And make sure that you take advantage of, if you belong to any of the music, like ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, that you take advantage of the many meetings. If they're in your local area, participate. Information is out there for anything that you want to do.
Very, very much.
Independent artists, you got to just take advantage of what is available for you and make it work for you. Look at that young man now that won 2 Grammys singing Christian rap.
Yes, Chance the Rapper.
I look at him, I'm like, who is this child looking like he is Bobby the Builder? And his little outfit.
He doesn't look a little Bob the Builder-ish.
He's going to start a fashion line of Bob the Builder clothes.
And they will buy it.
He got a Kit Kat commercial.
Yes. Well, that's all the time we have right now. Check out freedomradiohour.com. Leave a comment under everything we're posting. We'd love to hear from you. Definitely check out EddieNicholas.com, DJAdamCruz.com for more of our fantastic music. Have a great weekend and a great week ahead. And definitely tell a friend, tell a foe, tell everyone you know. If you're into music, you need to be into the music business news. Where are you getting that? Right here. Where?
91.6 FM.
Have a good one. Take care.
Peace and love.